Imagine a world where prostitution is not just seen as a business, but as a profound social and spiritual issue. It is not just about laws, economics or morality, but about the very essence of human dignity, love and the karmic consequences of our actions. In today's video, we dive beneath the surface exploring what this practice means for our souls, for our collective consciousness, and what a legalization that heals instead of just perpetuates the shadow might look like. Get ready for a journey that may change the way you look at this topic. I sit in the silence of the early morning dawn as my thoughts bounce off the soft light filtering through the curtain. I open my heart and ask myself, is it right to legalize prostitution or not? This question resonates on many levels: moral, legal, social and, above all, spiritual. The roots of ancient wisdoms that project the law of cause and effect, purity of heart, levels of consciousness and the subtle laws of karma are interwoven within me. I am not saying I already have the answer. On the contrary, at this moment I am a pilgrim on a journey, questioning my perceptions, feeling the weight of personal history and the longing for a deeper balance. First steps on the path of understanding. I remember when I first came across the principle that every action, even if seemingly innocent or socially harmless, carries the seed of consequences. As a young man, I often acted in affect. Someone wronged me and I retaliated with words that burned like poison. A week later, in the middle of a midterm exam, I fell ill with a fever and sore throat that forced me to stay home. Little did I know then that the rage in my heart had unleashed a storm of toxicity in my body. Only later did I understand that anger precedes physical illness, as if the body turns every hostile vibration into a disease. Today, when I think about prostitution as a phenomenon, I see that the issue of legalization is not just about law or economics. It is a question of how the collective consciousness of society resonates with the body of humanity. If the industry were fully open, regulated, and accompanied by programs of support, education, and healing, it could lead to the release of hidden suffering as well as new injuries. If it remains in a gray area, it will be practiced by the most vulnerable, severely tested by fate, deprived of rights and protection. The spiritual subtlety and value of the human soul. In the silence of my heart, I listen to the image of the soul exposing its deepest fears and desires. A book I once read said, "He who looks outside will not find inside." And so I ask, what are those who enter this path looking for? Is it love, the replacement of emptiness, or just a business transaction where the heart becomes a commodity? I've seen many women and men who have entered this world, tired of their story, looking for something in the physical that was missing in their inner being. Some found a sense of appreciation, others just another void. Yet the verse rings in my mind, everything we do comes back to us in the form of seed. When we accept this responsibility, I understand that any institutionalization must be accompanied by care for the soul, not just the body. If the legal framework protects, educates, offers a path to healing and a return to self-worth, suffering can be transformed into an opportunity for growth. But if it is just another perfume for society's shadow, we risk further separating the soul from its light. Personal encounters with karma. I remember a story of a man I met on a meditative journey in the mountains. He looked astonished, his body limp, his eyes red. He confessed that for many years he had been buying the services of women without ever stopping to consider what it evoked in the soul of the other person, and what it was doing to his own soul. "I feel empty," he said. "And when I come home, I have a headache, I feel a lump in my throat." I offered him a simple exercise. Every day, express 3 things of gratitude for the women in your life: mother, sister, friend. After a week, his eyes brightened. The headaches subsided. He consciously acknowledged the value of female energy, accepting it as a gift, not a service. This story showed me that the law of karma is like a reflection in muddy water. If we bring the dust of inattention and crudity into it, we pollute it. If we conjure up droplets of reverence and love in it, pure streams of healing energy will bubble up. The legalization of prostitution must therefore not be carried out in a grossly unscrupulous spirit as if it were only an economic segment. It must go hand in hand with a spiritual framework that recognizes human dignity and reminds us that every encounter is an opportunity to heal karmic wounds. Levels of consciousness and vibrations of love. In a deep meditation, I felt how my consciousness can rise to a level where I can feel every vibration of love as a stream of light permeating through my body. In this dimension, I realized that any activity that lowers love, where one feels used, humiliated, or separated from the self, lowers the collective vibration of humanity. Conversely, where respect, compassion, acceptance, and conscious presence are present, love naturally unfolds. If prostitution were legalized, but without ethical standards and spiritual access, the vibration of this sector could sink to low levels of fear, shame, and guilt. Conversely, an open-minded approach that emphasizes personal freedom, respect, consent, and healing the past could transform this sector into a place where people learn to recognize and express love in its various forms, just as they learn to recognize and respect their own and others' boundaries. Working with pride. Transcending illusions. I once found myself in a situation where I thought I could make a decision on my own without making a mistake. The moment I thought I was right, I began to assert my views aggressively. This eventually led to a heated argument with a very calm friend who mirrored my pride like a reflection in a clean mirror. I was embarrassed that I had forgotten the power of listening. I spent a week sitting quietly, humbly watching all my thoughts. And in the silence, for the first time in a long time, I felt what it meant to truly let go of the idea of my own infallibility and make room for others to teach me. This experience makes me realize that if we want to talk about legal reforms, we must first learn to put down our own illusions of smallness and greatness. Otherwise, we run the risk of our good intentions being just another manifestation of our pride. True legal change is only possible when it grows out of humility, the ability to listen to the voices of those most affected and treat them as full human beings. Love is the ultimate power. Ultimately, what unites all these considerations? Love. When I look at the imprints of my own failures and moments of grace, I see that where love was present, healing was present. Once, when I caught my own judgment of a man who worked at a nightclub, I decided to bless him in my thoughts. I took hold of that thought like a flower that I allowed to bloom in my heart. I felt how each inward judgment weighed on me, and how gratitude for human freedom and dignity melted my heart. Though I left room in my heart for questions and uncertainties, I felt a clarion call. Love should be a measuring stick, not a condemning finger. If society and the state are to proceed to legalize prostitution, it is a call to realize a new form of love in the material world, a love that is free, respectful of boundaries, recognizing that body and soul are sacred. It is not about bringing diamonds out of the darkness as marketable commodities, but about recognizing that even in the greatest shadows, the light of compassion, healing, and growth can spring forth. Final reflections. Today I stand at the crossroads of my beliefs, still searching for an answer. I don't want to speak from the position of a lawyer, nor from the position of a moral judge. I speak as a pilgrim who is learning to piece together his own fragments of inner wounds. I believe that if the time ever comes when prostitution becomes fully legal, it must be accompanied by a deep spiritual framework, programs of healing, education about respect for body and soul, promotion of healthy relationships, and conscious work with one's own emotions. Perhaps the greatest mission is not to find a definitive answer, but to remain open like a river that receives water from different sources and keeps flowing forward, purifying itself and balancing its banks. And so I, and society, are learning how to live in balance between freedom and responsibility, between passion and compassion, between law and spiritual depth. Let this narrative resonate in the silence of your heart and raise its own questions and its own answers. May love and humility guide our steps. May the silence of wisdom resound in every decision. May every choice grow from a true understanding of cause and effect. There, in balance, we may discover what is truly holy, and what leads us to our true self. Thank you for watching.